I think it's going to, and we're at home. Don't forget, we're strong at home. But this is a game that we have to look to get something out of. Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. Next up for Birmingham City is another tough championship fixture when we're at home to second place Middlesbrough. This is on Monday night under the lights, so the atmosphere will be brilliant. But always bring a good number of fans with them. Sure, they sell out their away end. So looking forward to it. Although, Matt, off the back of a really poor performance for us against Millwall in our last game, mate.
I know. Yeah, really frustrating, Dad. But Middlesbrough fans are feeling the frustration as well. They've only picked up 2 points in the last 3 games, and 2 of those games were against teams in the relegation zone. So, as you know, Dad, I'd like to do my research, look at the social media channel. So the top-rated comment from the Leicester draw at home was, the players and staff can't have any complaints if they can't win games like these. Whittaker and Ayling cannot start the next games. The playoffs it is. Which is funny because they're still in second.
Well, if you look at their results, they're a strange team. They're a very good team. I must say, I think that they had the best performance I've seen of any championship team when I watched them a few games ago against Sheffield United. They were absolutely outstanding. They won that game, although Sheffield United weren't bad in the first half either. But they are a strange team in as much as you mentioned, last 3 games, they've drawn 2 and lost 1. Prior to that, they won 6 in a row. Prior to that, they lost 3 out of 4 and drew the other 1. And prior to that, they won 4 in a row. So they have like blocks of wins, and then they have these little things. I think they have to be a little bit careful because where they are, clearly they in terms of they really are serious about automatic promotion, and they're right in there. But I mentioned about us being more consistent in order if we want to have any chance of a playoff push. They need to be more consistent, I think, if they want to maintain their place in the top 2. But they are a really good side. I've been very, very impressed with Middlesbrough, and they do play decent football. It's nice and quick, one touch, ping the ball around really, really quickly, and they're quite aggressive as well. They do play a variation of formations, 4-2-3-1, same as us. They've played that 9 times, 3-4-2-1 7 times, and even a 4-2-2-2 5 times, which is a very strange combination. But all of those, if you look at all those formations on paper, they may look like that, but they're all interchangeable, based upon when they are in possession and when they are out of possession. But, good side Middlesbrough. I am looking forward to this game, Matt, if I'm honest. But I'm hoping to get a reaction from our lads off the Millwall game because we know we're much stronger at home.
This is the kind of game we do well in, though, isn't it, Blues? Like, we beat Coventry, we drew on the opening game against Ipswich. Like, the teams who are up there at home, we tend to do quite well. It's the other games. Blues fans will totally appreciate this. It's the other games we tend to wet the bed a bit, don't we? But, they're a solid team, Dad, but they're not unstoppable, Middlesbrough. They have impressed me, and actually, we've had various videos throughout the season thinking where teams are going to finish, a bit of light-hearted fun. And actually, I don't think I've given Middlesbrough maybe the respect that they deserve. They're a good team. And what's interesting is, against Sheffield United, I completely agree. That was arguably the best performance I've seen in the Championship so far this season. But I have seen them in other games, and they look really average. But look at Blues in the first half against Norwich, and then look at us at Millwall away. It's the Championship, isn't it? And I think what separates the boys from the men is the consistency. If you can get a consistent run of form, you'll do well in this league. And although Boro have moments of being hit and miss, they're generally consistent. They're a good team. And, what impresses me the most about them, Dad, and I look at them and I think, I wish Blues would do this sometimes, it's the tempo. They do not stop, they just go and go and go. 1-0 up, they're going to keep going. 2-0 up, they're going to keep going. What's the famous, it's the, we always reference the Ipswich season, don't we, Dad? They got promoted back-to-back when they were in the Championship. It's that kind of foot on the neck, even when you're 3-0 up or whatever. And that is what I respect most about the Boro game. It's the tempo up front. They pass it, they move. They're always moving, I remember even at Millwall away, Dad, last game we played, we had a throw-in. And it took us 30 seconds to take the throw-in because none of our players were moving. Boro don't do that. They're always buzzing around, and we need to be wary of that tempo, that movement, and they're definitely going to come at us.
They won't be, worried about coming to us. I mean, they've got the second best, well, in fact, actually, probably points per game, they've got the best away record because they've got 28 points away from home from 17 games. Coventry are above them with 29, but they've played 18 games. So if you look at points per game, they've actually got the best away record in the whole division.
Right.
So that's going to be tough. But then we've got the 7th best home record in the division. So it's going to be a game where you've got a team that's got an excellent home record and a team that's got an excellent away record. And it will come down to quality. And that's the thing that concerns me about, for us, is that fast tempo, and that if we can match that, and we've shown that we're capable of doing it in phases. But again, for us, like you mentioned, the word consistency is the key, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
They score a lot of goals as well. They're as you'd imagine, they're second in the league, aren't they? They've scored 51 goals in their 34 games, which makes them 6th in the league table for goals scored, but they've got the second best defence. They've only conceded 34 goals. Only Stoke, believe it or not, have got the best defence currently in the Championship.
Wow.
And then both of those league tables, goals scored and goals against for us, we're mid-table.
Yeah.
So clearly they score more goals and they concede less goals. So that
why
means
they're second.
that's why they're second, and that's why we are where we are. But like you mentioned their style of play, Matt. I think that's really important. We focus on that because they do like possession-based football. They are fast. The tempo is excellent. They like short passes, and they will try through balls as well.
But if we're going to be honest, Dad, if you want to stop Middlesbrough, you stop Hayden Hackney. He's their engine room in the middle. For me, he's been a top 3 Championship player this season. Could arguably be challenging for number 1. Every time I watch him, he's fantastic. Hayden Hackney, he's aggressive. He makes them tick. He's just fantastic. And then also Riley McGree as well. Obviously, ex-Blues dad on loan for us that season. I think it was it 2021, 2022? I think it was.
Yeah, around about then, yeah.
And he's kind of their creative engine. He scored against Leicester, I believe. So he's the kind of player, Dad, that kind of turns a half chance into a full chance and kind of creates that little bit of magic. And another player I like is their right back, Callum Britton, because he kind of does that overlapping runs, takes the pressure off the wingers, and again can get a lot of balls in the box and can be dangerous as well. And again, I have referenced Morgan Whittaker and Ayling for different reasons. Obviously, I was a big fan of Morgan Whittaker when he was at Plymouth in that season we went down, and Ayling is just that solid. Experienced presence, but actually the Middlesbrough fans in the comments of the Leicester game, Dad, were saying Whittaker and Ayling should be on the bench, which again we just don't know the ins and outs of the clubs, do we, that we play often, and to have them two on the bench or to be asking for them to be on the bench shows they're not turning up recently.
No, that's interesting, isn't it? We're the same as Blues fans, though. We see players that we have an outstanding game and we're really glorifying them, and then they have a really poor game and suddenly they should never be in the team. That's just the nature of football fans. But one player I really like they've signed, I've seen him like a lot when I watch Middlesbrough, is Malanda. Malanda. I think they're going from the American League, the MLS. He's outstanding. He's a centre back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But he's really good and controlled on the ball, and he doesn't get bullied either. And he's a good ball player, and I think he's an absolute snip. I mean, based upon transfer market, they reckon they paid $6.9 million for him. That's from what I've seen. I think that's good money, well spent, because he.
That's quite a lot for a centre half in the Championship, though. But fair play to them. If he's doing the business, it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah. They've made some investments. I mean, obviously Matt Targett's ex-Villa, isn't he? But he's on loan from Newcastle, and also as well, they can't forget Jeremy Sarmiento, who nearly arrived at Birmingham City. He's on loan from Brighton.
For what it's worth, I quite like him.
Yeah.
I think he's a decent player. Yeah, I think I'm more referencing the season he was at Ipswich. In that season they went up to the Premier League. He scored against us at Portman Road, annoyingly. But he's a decent player. I quite like him. But he's not starting, is he? Isn't he more sort of impact sub at the moment? He's more coming off on the bench, isn't he?
Yes, From what I've seen, he has been as well. But they've got goals in him. And Morgan Whittaker, you mentioned him. He's their top scorer, right winger with 11 goals this season. And Tommy Conway, I like him as well. Tommy Conway is a little bit more of an old school type of striker. I like that. He's bustly. He'll challenge. He'll really sort of fight for the ball. But he's also quite quick as well. So he's got 7 goals. Riley McGree has 5. Hayden Hackney 4, and Alan Brown, central midfielder, with 3. Hackney's got 6 assists. He's a top. Morgan Whittaker's 5. So I know the Middlesbrough fans are saying that Morgan Whittaker, maybe based upon the comments that you've read, shouldn't start. Well, he's their top goal scorer and their second assist. So it's clearly, he can make something happen for
also,
them.
every player's entitled to a bad game from time to time. If it's just one performance, fine. But if it's not one performance and it's been consistent, fine. But if it's just one game,
Yeah.
Everyone's entitled to a bad game, aren't they? But,
I mean, as I say, they're going to be well up there and in the mix for automatics, aren't they?
Do you think they'll nab one? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coventry now are starting to gain momentum again, aren't they? So they look to have gone over their run of bad form. And also as well, I looked at the fixtures that are left as well. I think Coventry have got the easiest set of fixtures left out of all of the top 3 or 4.
If Ipswich win their games in hand, do they leapfrog Boro?
Yeah, so at the moment, the current league table is you've got Coventry top with 68 points off 34 games. Then you've got 5 points below that is Middlesbrough with 63 off 34 games. Then you've got Millwall 59 points off 34, but 34 games, 4 points further back. Then Ipswich, they're the team to watch because they've got 57 points, but they've got 2 games in hand over Middlesbrough. So therefore, Middlesbrough say I'd rather the points on the board, but if Ipswich win both of those games in hand, they'll be level on points with Middlesbrough. So it's going to be
goal difference.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure. I haven't got that.
I think Ipswich have a slightly better goal difference. But anyway, Dad, it's a close competition, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Middlesbrough have still got have got to go to Ipswich as well.
Have they?
On the 18th of
that's a
April.
big game.
Yeah, so that will be a massive game, wouldn't it? So that's at Ipswich.
Portman Road, yeah.
So interesting, and I'd say tough game, a good set of players, but we are where we are in the league, and we need the points as well.
Yeah.
Current form, we're not too bad. Middlesbrough have won 6, drawn 2, and lost 2 of the last 10. We've won 5, drawn 3, and lost 2. So quite similar form for both teams over the last 10 games, and both need points urgently for various reasons. So I think it's going to, and we're at home. Don't forget, we're strong at home, but this is a game that we have to look to get something out of.
Yeah.
And let's not say, let's not acknowledge that Middlesbrough are a very good team, but so are we at home.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I think we play better against teams that play similar to our style of football. Like Millwall don't really play our football. They're direct, they're aggressive. Middlesbrough are a bit more, will try and control the game with possession, short passes, quick tempo. They'll build slowly, create pockets out wide, get balls in the box. We tend to do a little bit better against teams, especially at home.
Yeah.
Teams that play that sort of style. But, we do have to be wary, Dad. It does worry me how, quick they shift that ball up front. We can be knocked out of kilter sometimes. I don't think we can go. We are quite aggressive at home. We press quite high. Our line's quite high-ish. But I think we do have to be a little bit more cautious, just because of their tempo.
Yeah,
by the way,
maybe because of our team as well, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah.
In terms of we've got a few injuries and suspensions now. So sorry, mate, I interrupted you.
No. But again, I'm not saying all those things to say let's pay them loads of respect, because sometimes those comments can be taken out of context. It's more, let's be a little bit more cautious of their strengths as well. Because I think sometimes when you just go, we've been guilty this season of having a game plan and just shoehorning it into a game without any thought or any strategy behind it. And if we do that, we're going to get punished. So we need to be a little bit smarter. But I think, again, Dad, we have the raw ingredients to win this game.
Yeah, I think so as well.
But, have to be wary, Dad. But a few vulnerabilities for Middlesbrough. They struggle with quick balls into the box and set pieces. And when they push high, it does create pockets of space behind their fullbacks. Yeah. So, again, areas to exploit for Blues.
Yeah, because we have got pace as well in our side as well. So let's go on to the Blues team, Matt, which will be very interesting based upon the... the team, what happened at Millwall with the injuries and suspension. So let's go for the starting lineup, and let's pick the team that you think Chris Davis will pick.
Okay, so I'm going to go for Beadle in goal.
Yeah.
I think he'll stick with Beadle. I'm going to go for Soy Samuel right back, Clara and Panzo in the centre backs, and I've actually gone for Laird left back.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got much extra cover on there, have we? So unless he wants to put a Water left back.
That's because of the injury to Kai Wagner.
Yes.
Yeah, which at the time of recording we don't know the extent of, but it looked like he's going to be.
I don't think he'll be back for Middlesbrough. Put it that way. I think people were sounded overly cautious, like it was quite a bad one. Yeah. But let's see what happens there. Yeah. So I've gone for Laird left back, Dad. Doyle and Awata in the 2 6s. I've gone for Dimmy Gray back on the left. I've gone for Dux back in the 10. I have actually gone for Patrick Roberts back on the right, going into Prisk up top.
That is exactly the team I've got.
Yeah.
I looked at this as well, and I thought that Gray should have started against Millwall. And nothing wrong that Osman's a good.
It wasn't the game for him though.
No, it wasn't, and he did okay in little bits. But Gray is much more aggressive, much more progressive, and much more impactful, I think. And I think he should start. He should be the first choice left back. I know that you've got to rotate because you've got 3 games in the week, etc., etc. But Gray for me on the left, definitely.
Left wing, not left back.
Sorry, left wing. no, left wing. Sorry, let's clarify that. Yeah. Doyle will almost definitely come in alongside of Watcher in midfield because obviously Solis is suspended for the game because of his 2 yellow cards at Millwall.
As it is though, Dad, I think this is the game for Doyle.
A
bit more progressive, short passing, getting us on the front foot a little bit.
Yeah. And as well, just to justify, I think Roberts as well. I thought Vicente was poor against Millwall. We have to call it as we see. Vicente started off well at Blues, done very well, but I think he was really just marked at the game against Millwall. I'm just being honest about what I saw. I think Vicente is going to be a massive player for us in the future.
He will be.
He's absolutely brilliant. I really, really like him, but I don't think he had a great game against Millwall. So therefore, bring on Patrick Roberts, who's a great player as well, to give him his chance.
If you are going on that theory, though, Dad, you have to sub all 11.
Yeah, maybe. But then, and sometimes
I'm winding you up.
Well, but you would. I mean, there would be an argument to have a completely different 11, but we haven't got all those level of options on in other positions. But I would say as well that I think Prisk has proved to be a good target man, and I think he will start in that number 9. And again, I don't think Stano was fantastic against Millwall as well. Dutch, I know a lot of people are very much on the he's not physical, etc. I get that, but he's a player that can create chances, and we saw the combination between Dutch and Prisk against Norwich in the first half. They can replicate that.
There's games for Dutch and there's not games for Dutch. Like I would class Coventry, Boro, Ipswich, like your more technical teams are perfect games for Dutch. Your Millwalls, your Charltons, your Wrexhams, your Portsmouth. He shouldn't be in those. Well, it's not that he shouldn't be in those games, but he's not going to give you the physical outlet that someone else is going to give you. But I think this is the game for Dutch, and I think it's the game for Doyle as well.
Yeah, I think Stano needs to realise that there is competition there for places, and I think Chris Davies sometimes has to put players in to also give other players a prompt. And I think maybe Stano needs that a little bit. I don't think he's been himself over the last few games, and it maybe that will be the motivation to get him back to his absolute best. But
that I have no interest in sort of I don't think it does anyone any good to break down players and really go in on them, but we have to be clearly honest and transparent. And recently, he just hasn't been at the races.
Well, other Blues fans will see what we see, Matt. They're watching the same games as us, and we're not being overly critical on players. We're just giving an honest opinion, and not to say that Stano is absolutely outstanding. And on his day, he's a big favourite of the Blues fans. He's a big favourite of us. Anybody who watches the channel knows that. But he's not immune to having a bad game or having a bad patch, and he has to go through the same hurdles as every other player to get his place and win his shirt, and I think he might need that, somebody else starting in his place to give him that prompt to come on. He always gives you that energy though, Stano, and but I think he needs to be back at his ultimate best. I think too. We want to see the Stano that's assisting, scoring goals, and making those contributions. But he'll be back. Stano. He might even start this game, to be honest. But I think that he may. Chris Davies may look at the starting lines that we've chosen. I think.
We know he can do it, Daddy. The reason why we bought him in League One on such money was because he did it in the Championship the season before.
Yeah.
He can do it. It's just players have bad moments. Poor runs of form, and it is what it is. Football. It's not if you take it personally. It's just he's had a bit of a bad run of form, and for that reason, for me, Stano has to be on the bench for this one.
Yeah.
So
I think the midfield's important in this game as well. I think Iwata's going to have a big job on Hayden Hackney. To keep him quiet, which he's quite capable of doing. He's a good player, Iwata. He's physical, and he can do that. And obviously Doyle would now need to be that creative player. So Iwata and Solis are both, you would classify as very similar types of players. So it might be good to have Doyle in there as a variation in midfield.
Yeah. Well, Iwata and Solis are more sixes. They're your defensive midfielders, where Doyle can be an 8. He can be your standard centre midfielder. So I think Doyle, you're right, Dad, will be the key to unlocking it, and Iwata will be the key to keeping players like Hayden Hackney quiet. So if we can do that and we can knock them out of kilter, again, with the form they're on, I say form, last couple of games, we need to bounce back. Monday evening under the lights, and two teams that need to bounce back. So it should be a good game of football. But score prediction, now let's get into it.
Okay, I see this as a very similar game to when we played Coventry at home. So I want to go for the same score: Birmingham 3, Middlesbrough 2.
I've gone for the same margin and a Blues win as well, but slightly less. It's been your recent predictions. I've gone for Birmingham 2, Middlesbrough 1.
That's why I didn't go for it. I think I picked 2-1 for the last 3 games, haven't I?
So you've had to just pick something different.
No. I think this could be one of those games where both teams could go at each other, leave gaps at the back, and there could be a few goals in this.
Could be.
So I've gone for 3-2 to Blues, and but as I said, we know that Middlesbrough come second in the league, and as no game. We're probably sick of saying this, but no game is easy in this league. No. But when you come up against the top teams, that's where you've really got to be on your game in it.
But we tend to be. When you think about Blues at home against big clubs in big moments, we do okay.
Done all right,
and that's why I've predicted a win. But if I'm honest, anything could happen in this. But I am going to be confident. I'm going to shrug the Millwall off, and I'm going to be positive for this one, Dad. I'm going to go Blues 2, Middlesbrough 1.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. So we've both gone for goals. So What do you think, Birmingham City supporters? Let us know what's your thoughts on the starting lineup or anything that's on your mind really about the club. Add the comments below. If you're a Middlesbrough fan and you've come across the podcast for the first time, we welcome comments from the opposition fans as well. All we ask is that, as we are a family podcast, that you keep your comments clean and respectful. No foul and abusive language or aggressive behaviour or insulting remarks, please. If you did like this podcast, as always, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you'd like to watch or listen to us on Spotify, you'll also find us on there. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to, and there really is no obligation to subscribe, but if you want to, hit that big red subscribe button. And if you want notifications every time we put a new podcast out, there's a little bell icon next to the subscribe button. So if you hit that, you'll get those notifications. So that's it for this one. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one. All about Birmingham City.